Hey everybody, and welcome to my PTK Has Talent painting. So I just flashed across the screen. It's the first painting I ever did. Today we're gonna try and recreate that. Not exactly, I'm hoping that I've grown as an artist. I also flashed my palette across the screen, and right now you can see that I'm adding some black, and then I'm gonna add a little bit of blue into that black to create that dark sky. And then slowly I'm gonna start adding a little bit of violet, a little bit of white, so that we can kind of blend that down and get that nice gradient that we're looking for. This painting actually took me about an hour to complete, and I had to speed it up 8 times to get it to fit down into the 7 minutes. So it looks really fast, but it does take time, and it's meant to be relaxing. So if you wanted to try and paint along, that would be great. If not, that's totally cool too. Feel free to just watch. Now I'm putting in that horizon line. We have the front, which is going to be water, and the back, which is going to be the city silhouette. Silhouettes are one of my favorite things to paint because they're easy. I can blend colors and then throw some black on it. It looks like I did something really amazing. So when you do water, you want it to be the opposite of the sky. So if the sky is dark to light, you do your water light to dark. You can see I'm just reinforcing that line there between the city and the water. And I'm just using a regular blush brush that you can find at like Walmart for $1. I'm not going to go ahead and put the black line in. That's going to be the official line between the water and the city. It's okay that it's not totally straight. Coastlines never really are. What I've done is I've mixed that black down so that it's like a ink type consistency. I'm going to start putting this bridge in, and then I remember that I need to do stars. So I take a very hard bristled brush, water down the white so that it is also an ink-like consistency, and just kind of flick it on the canvas. You can control how big or how little or how many stars you have based on how far away you are from the canvas. I'm now going to start reinforcing those lines again and start putting in some buildings. I'm using a liner brush here both because my canvas is fairly small. This is only an 8x10, and also because really it's the only brush I have clean. I'm really terrible at washing my brushes, so don't be like me. Here in a little bit, I'm going to talk about it now even though it's not on the screen because it flashes by really fast. I'm going to start talking about the rule of thirds and about how I've actually violated the rule of thirds. So the rule of thirds is actually a photography concept, and it's where you get like those 9 boxes that you might see on like when people start talking about photography. And the rule of thirds really says that your horizon line should be either on the top line or the bottom line of the breakup of 3, and I've put mine right in the middle of the canvas, which is not ideal. Ideally, yep, there it is. I should have put it on that bottom line for the rule of thirds, but that's okay. It's still gonna turn out great. There I am flicking some stars in, and then here you can see we have some lights. They're kind of like that bottom city line. I like to think of those as cars going out to dinner or home from work, or you know, maybe they're visiting that tower in the middle, or going over to that Ferris wheel, spending some time with their family. What I'm going to do is I'm going to alternate like a really light yellow and a white, excuse me, to give it some color. And then while that dries, we're going to start putting in a shooting star. So the original did not have the shooting star, and I just thought that we could probably take this painting up to the next level by adding it. I'm using transparent mixing white because the transparent mixing white does have a little bit more of transparency to it. So I sent it down, and then you can see I'm starting to put that in. Now that looked really, really good, and then I put a little dot for the actual star, and I didn't like it. So you'll see throughout this video where I kind of fiddle with it. Acrylic paints are very forgiving. And so you'll see I put some water on my finger a couple of times, then I wipe it away, and then I come back and I try and fix it again. Down here, what I'm doing is I'm starting to add in the reflection of those lights from those cars. And so I'm just doing the dotting thing. You want to leave just a tiny bit of space in between your dots, and then just take your finger and drag it down, and you can get that reflection going. And then what I'm going to do, we'll see it here in just a moment. Yep, we are starting to put in some of like the shadows or the reflections from those buildings. The problem was is that the paint dried too quickly, and so they didn't turn out quite like I wanted to. But you know what? It's okay. We're going to push forward, and it is actually going to turn out really great. So what I've done is I've mixed some regular titanium white as well as some transparent mixing white, and I'm just doing these horizontal lines, and these are going to give us a hint of like that water. And then I'm going to put some deeper lines which give us a couple of little crashing waves. I'm assuming we're on a boat or across the bay. And then I'm going to do something a little bit bold and a little bit crazy where we water down that blue, black, violet color past the point of it being an ink-like consistency, and we're just going to brush it over everything. And what that's going to do is going to deepen our color, but you can see it's also taking the starkness out of those white lines. We can still see them, but they're not quite what they were before. And then we're going to come right back over and we're going to put a couple of more white lines in it. And that's just going to help us deepen the water. It's going to deepen our hues and make our painting a little bit more dynamic. Here I'm just again fiddling with that shooting star. It never quite comes out exactly like I want it to, but I think that you'll enjoy the end product, which is right there. You can see it. And I'm gonna sign this and we're gonna be all done. I hope that you've enjoyed, and I hope that at some point you follow along. Thanks guys.